Has this ever happened to you? You're sitting there with the perfect drawing idea in your head, and you go to start drawing it, and all of a sudden, everything that could go wrong goes wrong. Well, guess what? That's what happened in this drawing. This originally was going to be a different kind of video, but instead, I want to talk about my experience with this drawing. Most call me CJ, and today we're going to talk about when a drawing goes bad. As an artist, you're going to inevitably experience a drawing that goes as wrong as it possibly could go wrong. Proportions are all over the place. No matter how many times you erase and redraw something, it turns out wrong. And you just can't seem to figure out why something looks off. That's what happened in this drawing. As you can see, all my proportions are off, and things just don't look right, regardless of how many times I decide to erase and draw them. And keep in mind, this is the third time I've drew this drawing that you're watching right now, or my third attempt. So, as you can probably guess, it's a pretty frustrating experience to have to put so much effort into something only for it to turn out pretty bad. At least in your eyes, because I mean, you're the one who's drawing it. That's exactly what happened in this drawing. Everything that could have gone wrong just went wrong. And yet, I still decided to finish it, even though at some point or another, I didn't really care about it anymore. But I decided to just finish it because, you know, whatever. And after I was done with the sketch, it got me thinking about not only, you know, why what went wrong, but how to treat drawings that go wrong in general moving forward. And I think I've come to a pretty good conclusion. And it's that instead of treating bad drawings as, oh man, this sucks, I suck, I'm never gonna make it, what's wrong with me? Instead, I want to start looking at bad drawings as a learning experience. Instead of saying, wow, this sucks, or I suck, I'm going to start asking myself, why did this happen? Even if a drawing doesn't turn out right or good, it can still be a learning experience. And that's really what matters at the end of the day to becoming a better artist. It's your mindset. Your mindset is just as important as the technical and mechanical aspects of drawing. So regardless of if the drawing turns out good or bad, just remember to reflect on why things turned out the way that they did. And another thing to remember is that as you get better at drawing, your ability to see your own mistakes gets better as well. And those two don't level up at the same pace. So your ability to see your own mistakes could progress faster than your actual ability to draw correctly, which could make it seem and feel like that you're a lot worse at drawing than you really are. I've also realized that improvement in art, and probably a lot of other skills as well, isn't linear. And what I mean by that is you don't always just get better at art. Like it's not like a game where you, for example, in like an RPG where you level up from level 5 to 6, right? It doesn't work like that. Like you don't just always progress. It's more so it goes up and down. But over time, the overall trend is up. But within that trend is a bunch of spikes and dips, kind of like the stock market graph. If you've ever seen that, it's hard to remember or to keep those things in mind in the moment, which I'm sure most people don't, but it's something I would like to get better at so that I don't really beat myself up over a drawing that just didn't come out, as good as I wanted it to. And I think that with the combination of kind of social media, where social media kind of portrays, or at least gives this kind of false image of all these artists always making banger drawings, it kind of just makes at least me feel, maybe even subconsciously, that every drawing is supposed to be some 10 out of 10 banger that looks better than the previous one, and nothing ever goes wrong. And I never make mistakes, and I never mess up, which obviously just isn't true. But because of how social media works, that kind of image is portrayed, even if people don't really necessarily try to portray that on purpose. And with that kind of really covers everything that I had to do with the really important stuff about today's video. So I wanted to just take the rest of the video to talk about the actual drawing itself. So obviously, as you guys can see, it is Sue for like the millionth time. I love Sue. I love My Hero Academia. So I thought, with this new sketchbook, I wanted to start off drawing Sue. And unfortunately, it didn't really go that well, but I did it anyways. Yeah, I've drawn Sue a ton of times, and I will probably draw Sue a ton more times. But yeah, I just wanted to open up the sketchbook with Sue, because why not? And I also really want to get into coloring, which is why I did color this drawing. You'll see that sooner or later in the video. Kind of the goal of the sketchbook is obviously to improve, but to kind of get the ropes on coloring, especially with alcohol markers, because I've really never done it before. This is probably like my third or fourth time coloring with alcohol markers. So yeah, hopefully with this sketchbook I can kind of get coloring down to a decent point, and also just trying to get better at inking as well with a brush, because inking is already hard, and then with a brush is like even harder. But it kind of has this organic, like natural feel to it that you don't really get with other inking tools. That's why I really like using a brush. It just feels very like authentic. I don't know if that's a good way to describe it. But yeah, at this point, I didn't really care about this drawing anymore at this point. So I'm just like making a bunch of mistakes, but I don't really care. I'm sure you guys can see if you look. It was really frustrating. I won't lie. And I'm trying to just get better at dealing with that frustration, and putting into the forefront that like not every drawing has to be this magnum opus, like masterpiece. But it's really hard to do that in the moment. Like, that's the thing. It's always like in the moment you forget about all those important things, and then it's only after where you're like, oh yeah, wait, this is just a sketch in a sketchbook. It doesn't really need to be good. Now, not to say like go out and make crap, but like really, as long as I'm learning something from it. Is it really a failure? Is it really a drawing that went wrong? Probably not, but I mean, I'm sure all of us want all of our drawings to be as good as they possibly can be, right? Why would we not want that? So, as you can see, yeah, just pulling out some of the alcohol markers. They're just the hoo-hoo markers, by the way, if anyone is curious. I believe they're the best ones overall. That's what I keep seeing online. So, I just got, 30, 40 of them? Oh, 48. Yeah, 48 of them. And yeah, you guys are probably going to be seeing a lot more color in my drawings. So, get excited for that, I guess. Yeah, I wanted to try something. I was inspired by another drawing I saw where they kind of did this really cool, like, monochromatic coloring. So I decided to just use blue for really just no reason. I was just like, you know what? I want to use blue. So that's what I did. And it's kind of hard to be like, I learned something from this drawing, because I just didn't really care at this point. I'm just literally just kind of going through the motions. But I think my first goal is to obviously get a more smoother coloring from the alcohol markers. And I feel like I was starting to get it towards the end. But yeah, that's really, I mean, there's really nothing that much going on here, but hopefully in the future I'm gonna have more complex drawings. I'm still trying to figure out a lot of stuff in the real life right now, but I definitely should be getting back to uploading videos and streaming and whatnot. So it's been quite the last couple of weeks. So, you know, be sure to let me know what you guys think about this topic, and you know, if you guys got something on this video, do all that YouTube stuff. Like, comment, subscribe, you know the drill. Let me know if you got something on this video, and I will see you guys in the next one. Bye-bye.